I'm Pandamel, and today we're going to be talking about the Record Sunset Port event in NieR Reincarnation. This event is very similar to the NieR Autonoma crossover event, with some differences in the shop and increases in both the difficulty of levels and difficulty of collecting medals, and I'll go into more detail about that in just a few minutes. For now though, it's safe to assume that the same rules of sweep on normal quest 3 apply. Again, definitely strive to beat the hardest levels at least once for the gems, and considering the lower bonus, it might be more worth it to farm on a very hard level if it gives a tremendously big bonus like the very hard quest 10 from the crossover event did. But I think many of the more casual players like me won't quite be there yet, so farming on normal quest 3 seems like a good rule of thumb. More on that later. Similarly, prioritize acquiring and ascending the 1, how sad. Last time there were 3, but the 1 event weapon in the shop, since this event has hinted at a possibility of multiple events in the future, overlapping events, might be good to invest heavily in the stamina bottles. Last time I mentioned clearing out the stamina bottles in the shop once daily, but now I want to emphasize clearing it out multiple times with the gems. Depends on personal preference. The first 10 gem refresh of the shop is a must. I would go for at least 30 gem mark, or like 40 gems per day for 40 stamina bottles, which would be 800 stamina. Depending on the situation, I could also see spending 50 gems for an extra refresh, bringing the total to 90 gems for 1200 stamina, but I'd draw the line at 100 gems for another shop refresh. In more detail, this is a collection event where the player uses stamina on a certain event levels to collect Sunset Port medals to exchange from the event shop. After the event, the medals won't be redeemable anymore. This event lasts from August 5th to September 1st, spanning about 27 days. To purchase all of the items in the shop, one would need 61,370 Sunset Port medals. Doing a rough estimate, where we assume 17 medals per 5 stamina, this would mean spending 668 stamina per day, or 700 to be safe. I think 680 would be reasonable, but 700 to be safe. Now, if you wanted to optimize every single round for max medal to stamina, and it's really not worth the time and effort, but I went ahead and did the math and data collecting anyways. It's not perfect because I only did one trial of each 10 rounds for each level that I tested, but I just didn't think it was worth it for me to do multiple trials. But scientific method, you're supposed to do multiple trials. I also have no data on the very hard levels because my team isn't strong enough, but barring that, according to the data I collected, it would be best to sweep with the highest multiple of 3 levels, if the trend continues, as possible with the given party power, because it's after every 3 levels that stamina costs rise, and that's why it's important to sweep on very hard level 9, very hard level 6, very hard level 3, hard level 9, hard level 6, etc. And it's best to sweep on those levels at least until the bonus surpasses 5 times the difference of the ratio of medals to stamina for that level and for normal quest 3. That is to say, so here I have a chart to make it easier. So somebody who can comfortably sweep at a maximum of hard level 9 should continue doing so at least until the bonus they have passes 2.856, which would likely be when the event weapon first reaches Ascension level 1. Similarly, hard level 6 and 3 would be the most efficient for a player who can't go past those levels, up until the bonus passes 2.738 or 2.229, respectively, again at the first Ascension level. Meanwhile, normal 6 and 9 would only be profitable for a player who can't go past those levels up until they receive 1 copy of the weapon. So, to summarize, normal levels, it's profitable up until 200 medals. For hard levels, it's profitable up until 600 medals, because then they can buy 2 weapons due to Ascension. Not sure about very hard levels, just because there might be some kind of insane bonus, but I'm not sure. Whenever the bonus number that you get, the number of bonus medals you get from the weapons you equip passes the number indicated in the bonus plus column, it becomes more profitable to sweep on normal quest 3. All in all though, it's really such a small difference, and considering the amount of stamina a player will probably use in the event, the difference is kind of negligible. Still, in case anyone was interested, I did this math and data collection. And let's take a look at the shop in detail. It's quite similar to the Autonoma event, though it's missing some upgrade items, think strength or dex character enhancements, or light or heavy weapon enhancements, as well as other materials such as small fish, low quality ink, small battery, small feather duster, small meat hunk, and small circuits. We can also see some new items such as elongator, active agent, refining agent, and enhancement agent, as well as their higher quality counterparts. There are also a greater selection of skill enhancement materials such as young timber, common wax, white cloth, standard gear, used charcoal, rusty coal, and broken glass, as well as their higher quality counterparts. For some of the items that stayed the same, the pricing also stayed the same, but the quantity available may have changed. For most of them, they went down. There were like 1 or 2 that went up, but mostly the quantity went down. As with last time, prioritize acquiring items from left to right, top to bottom. Getting the Javelin of Vice and ascending it will eventually provide a 10 coin bonus. It is the only bonus that can be guaranteed in this event, as the other weapons that give bonuses have to be summoned from the event pool, and you can't really guarantee gacha unless you're talking about the 200 shard exchange shop pity, and that's not really... So, this event will be more difficult than the crossover event for various reasons. For one, everybody could potentially be guaranteed a 40 event medal bonus with each round during the last event. This event only potentially guarantees a 10 event medal bonus. The level difficulty itself has also increased, with the recommended power at Quest 10 of Very Hard ending at 45,000 rather than 32,000. The event is also slightly shorter, and it demonstrates that the NieR Reincarnation will probably release multiple overlapping events, so farm those stamina bottles. For those reasons, I would personally prioritize finishing off the NieR Autonoma crossover event first, as in completely clearing the exchange shop since there's a greater potential bonus, though that would be after having cleared the first 2 rows of the Sunset Port exchange. So, to better elaborate, my first thing would be to clear the first 3 rows of NieR Autonoma crossover event, then the first 2 rows of Sunset Port. Then, from both, I would want to clear all the evolution materials, which would be the gems with these blue backgrounds, and also the 2 insignias. Then I'd skip to the bottom for both, sweep all the coins, and that might be surprising, but at least for me, coins have been a huge limiting factor, and maybe that's just because I'm not willing to sell weapons, but coins are used in enhancing and sending everything, and also with memories, it's a whole coin lottery thing, where the successful enhancement chance decreases as price increases and as enhancement goes up. After that, I'd probably clear all the remaining items in NieR Autonoma crossover, then in Sunset Port Shop, unless specific characters or weapons I was ascending needed specific items, in which case I'd prioritize those. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and maybe consider leaving a comment if you want, to make my day and increase the probability of me making more videos like this. Friendly reminder that the gameplay videos are nowhere as near concise or informational as these strategy videos are. Not that they're that great in the first place. So don't watch them unless you feel like burning time. Have a nice day, and I hope you have fun playing games.